Yeah, I'm Hank Oritson, resident of Damascus, 17373 Southeast Forest Hill Drive. And I had 4 items to talk about, and I now have a few fewer, I think. The first item I'd like to address is this issue of ethical behavior and integrity. It is not sufficient to have those qualities. It is also necessary that the general public perceives you as having those qualities. And to speak to Diana directly, the issue of the goodwill truck, it wasn't a matter of whether you were acting ethically or not. The issue was that you were perceived to not be acting ethically because of a potential conflict of interest. That was the big problem. On sensitive document handling, I had a longer thing to say, but I'll make it quite short. During my career as a physicist, I was involved with a great deal of research sponsored by such agencies as ONR and NSA and so forth. I had various and sundry clearances from secret to TSSI. I'm very familiar with how one needs to handle sensitive documents. In the case of a sensitive document, there are 2 obvious things that kind of come up as number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is the document is clearly marked as sensitive. That is, anyone seeing such a document on the floor would immediately say, oh, look, a sensitive document, I better turn that in. I'm curious if the documents in question were so marked, and if so, how, and in what color, and was it done as a watermark, you know, all this sort of stuff. The second thing is that such documents are never, ever, under any circumstances, left by themselves, that is, alone. Little orphans out there for anyone to steal, so as to speak. They go inside a folder. The folder would be marked contains sensitive documents. The person in charge of those documents, had they left them out, I assume has been disciplined, that there be some disciplinary action, perhaps fired, or perhaps, as would have been the case with the TSSI information I worked with, had I allowed someone else to see that, I would have looked forward to free room and board at beautiful suburban Leavenworth, Kansas for an extended period. I presume that the city has in place such careful handling of these documents. If not, and they were left in a public area, anybody can take a picture. There is no possibility that somebody did something wrong other than the person responsible for the documents.
Thank you, Hank.